Alright, so I'm going to play this song through. There's 3 parts, and I'm going to explain everything as assuming that you have no experience playing the recorder. For those of you that have woodwind experience, don't be offended that I'm talking down to you. I'm going to call everything part A, part B, and part C. I'm going to play A, and then B, and then C at the speed I think it probably should be played at, and then we'll go back and talk about everything and work through it. Alright, here we go. Call that part A. Okay, part B. And then back to part A. And then part C, we go up high. Back to part A. Pretty much the song. You could repeat the B part more if you like, whatever you want to do. Alright, so let's break this down pretty simply. You're going to use the tongue stop method, and for those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's like the difference between just blowing air, and then with every note, you're actually stopping the note by pressing your tongue against the opening, and that's going to make it cut. So I'll give you an example. This is just blowing air on one note. This is with tongue stop. We can make a beat, we can make a rhythm. I'm playing the same note, but breaking it up. It sounds like multiple notes. It really accentuates it. It sounds more medieval, sounds more Renaissance. I also find that it makes it sound a lot better because when you're transitioning between notes, if you're constantly putting air through, then as you're in the process of changing notes, you're actually playing flat or sharp, and it makes it sound like you don't know what you're doing. If you're actually doing a stop, that gives you a second to get that finger down with no air coming through, and so you're only hearing the clean, accurate notes. And so the way that I break it up, instead of going the tongue in between each note, make a stop, so it sounds more like this. You have more control too. So anyways, so that's I don't know the names of all these notes. You can just watch the fingers and sound for it and look where I'm starting. One thing of note though is that on the B part, where you're starting actually with just these, well, 4 fingers, as always, you're covering this back one, but the 3 on the top, is that you're actually going to do a bent note in recorders where you're kind of half rocking your finger off of the hole, so you're not totally uncovered and not totally covered. And by doing that, you're actually playing, you know, like a flat or sharp, and that's what you need to do for it to sound correctly. So on the B part where it goes, there it is right there. Da, da, da. That 3rd note is bent. I'll do it again, hopefully accurately. See, I'll play 2 different notes. Da, 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 da. So there's 2 notes there, da, and then stop, and the second, da. So there's a different note between being half off and all the way on. Okay, and then of course the C part, you're starting with just the top finger. And anyways, again, you can play it slow, you can play it fast. That's the general idea. That's the only tricky note, that one on the 3rd note of the B part where you're actually rocking. Everything else is a solid note all the way through. It should be fairly simple. And once again, listen for how I'm breaking up the rhythm by tonguing in between each note. So you're always starting with this, so these 2 should always be off to start. that's slow enough. And then once again, I'll finish off this by playing it the speed it probably should sound like if you can get up to this fast. And again, remember, if you make a mistake, no one's going to know. The person who wrote this song probably died 1,000 years ago.